Right, so we're back on standard mode and going back to Murloc Paladin. Now, a few weeks ago I tried a Midrange Murloc Paladin and you saw that on my channel. It was the deck on the right hand side that I tried and I had some good success with it. However, more recently I've tried the deck on the left, which is RDU's Murloc Midrange Paladin. Now, what's different between the two decks? Well, the RDU version runs the Murloc Tidecaller, and the deck on the right, which I ran a few weeks back, does not. Murloc Tidecaller does provide a little bit of early aggro, a way to build up a strong body on the board very early on if you can combo the Tidecaller with, let's say, an Inquisitor or a Rockpool Hunter. The RDU deck also has one copy of Rallying Blade. Now, this fascinated me. Rallying Blade synergizes with Divine Shield minions, and there aren't many in this deck that have the shield, but it's a good early weapon just at clearing things on the board. So that fascinated me, so I thought, okay, I have to try out the RDU deck. The late game is pretty much identical to the deck that I tried a few weeks back, if you compare them there. You know, starting from Consecration onwards are pretty much identical. The RDU deck on the left does not run Blessing of Kings, and it doesn't run the Wicker Flame Burn Bristle, and that is to make room for the Tidecaller and the Rallying Blade. So we're going to try out the RDU version of the Murloc Midrange Paladin, and we're going to see how it fares on the standard mode ladder. Do note that both decks actually run Equality, just one copy of Equality, but double Consecration. It is a great comeback mechanic. If you draw those cards at the right time, it can be a game winner. Okay, we're going to start out here at rank 10, and we're going up against a warrior. I'm going to keep the Rockpool Hunter. It will buff a Murloc, but even if we don't have a Murloc, it's still a 2-cost body that we can play as a 2/3. It's reasonable. Oh look, there's a Murloc. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the dream start. A 1 into a 2 into a choice of 3s. Now, against any deck, whether it's aggro, mid-range or control, if you can get the early Murloc start, you're pretty pleased. Because you push aggression. This mid-range deck becomes an aggressive deck. Now, this warrior didn't do anything on turn 1, so I presume there's no quest in hand. Unless he mulliganed it away. Oh, it's Pirate Warrior! How interesting. It's Pirate Warrior who didn't have a turn 1 play. Wow, his hand must be quite heavy. Well, we have a choice here. War Leader or the Rallying Blade? Now, I'm going to go with the War Leader, and I'll tell you why. It's actually quite an important decision. The War Leader is a body, and against Pirate Warrior, I just want to get bodies. Oh, okay. Bodies on board. But hey, he saw the start that I had. He knew that him winning this game was very, very unlikely, and he conceded. Hey, I don't blame him. This is the power of the Murloc start. If you get it, you beat Pirate Warrior. Okay, one more game against a Shaman here. Now, in the previous game, we had the Murloc start. Oh, and we've got it in this game too. The way you lose with this deck is if you have no early game in your hand, and sure, once you get to the mid to late game, you can finally play something apart from the hero power. But by that point, you're probably losing. So you have to draw the early Murlocs. Or at least a couple of them. So here, it looks like we're going up against Token Shaman, who will probably have Bloodlust, Devolve, Evolve, and other tools. Jade Claws is such a good card, even if you're not playing a Jade-centric deck. The fact that you get a weapon plus a body on board is it has big implications for tempo. It's really good. So here, we're a bit sad. We can only hero power. And because of his weapon, he's going to take control now of this board. He'll kill the 1/2, he'll kill the 1/1. And he even plays patches, wow. So Consecration with 2 copies in the deck would be really, really good to draw at this point. No. Consecration would have been good for turn 4, obviously. Would have been good to have had it in hand. So we're going to go with the Tyrion. We're going to be greedy. Sure, Tyrion's a little bit slow, that by the time we get to turn 8, he could be bursting us down. But if we survive, the value from Tyrion will be insane. It will also block an awful lot of damage. So here, I'm feeling a bit stuck. It's feeling a bit slow. No Consecration to clear the board. We have a 1-4 and a 3-3, both of which are at risk of dying to the likes of Flame Tongue Totem buffing the board, or Jade Lightning. Yep, there it is. The Shaman is building a board. However, sure, my deck is feeling slow, but if we can get something left on the board next turn, if one thing can survive, we have Spikeridge Steed. Spikeridge Steed is one of the best cards to come out of the Ngoro expansion. It's very difficult for aggressive classes to get through. The only issue, though, for me is the likelihood of him having Devolve or Hex. The Shaman is one of the best classes to deal with Spikeridge Steed because of the tools that it has at its disposal. I may be forced to just Spikeridge here. I mean, I need to start getting through his minions. So he's now going to be forced, hopefully, to attack into my taunt minion there, and when it dies I'll get it back to hand. But there is Devolve and Bloodlust. Am I dead? Just like that? And he's not trading. How interesting. Okay, I'm nearly dead. This is telling me something. This is telling me that maybe he's got another Bloodlust in hand, and that he's just waiting to do more damage to me next turn.
I found it first.
But there's the second Spikeridge Steed. And now we're vulnerable to a second Devolve or a Hex. Let's hope he has neither. No, he has Aya. That's fine. Well, it's not fine, but at least my taunt has survived. And where the hell is Consecration? Honestly, 2 copies in the deck. Okay, this is where picking the Tyrion was probably good. Because we're putting our faith in the light now. And we have a second Tyrion to back this one up. But we're at 7 health. I mean, what kills us? Second Jade Lightning with spell power plus another spell that does 2 damage. If he runs Lightning Bolt, for example, that'll do 3, or actually 4 with the spell power totem. So Lightning Bolt Jade Lightning is 9 damage. 9 damage that he could do to me. Oh, there's the second Jade Lightning, so at least it's not going face. Hey, that's something. Okay, another Tyrion back to hand. And here is the value of Spikeridge Steed. We have a 2/6 taunt in play now that can protect us. Double Aldor Peacekeeper is actually pretty useful here. Sunkeeper Tarim does very little, because it'll leave him with 3/3 minions. So, can I afford to face tank something here?
I found it first.
There are different ways of going about this. My only issue with using the Aldor is there are going to be other Jade threats coming very soon. And those Jades are ramping up now. It's getting quite scary. So the Aldor is pretty useful, but there's okay. So there's some healing that we've just drawn into, potentially. Now, I'm not sure if I'm sequencing this correctly, but the rope is burning, and so we've just got to get with it. We have 2 Tyrians in hand. They will block damage. That's important. Oh my goodness. 2 things from below. Is this a Tarim turn? Are we forced to Sunkeep a Tarim here? Or do we want to wait? If we're playing Tarim, then we probably have to play the Wicker Flame and the Tidecaller. And we want to eliminate a minion first, just to avoid it getting buffed up as a 3/3. So sequencing really important here. So the Tarim value now is realised, and the Wicker Flame will give us the healing that hopefully, or the healing that we need, hopefully letting us survive. Oh boy, here we go. Is he going to evolve this board? Yep. Oh goodness. Reckless Rocketeer? Really? Charge minion? Oh, he's so lucky. Okay, our health total is very, very low. How do we get through this?
For justice.
I mean, we can afford to face tank that 4/5, but I mean, it's such a big gamble. But what else do we do? That 5 health is very, very awkward. So we put our faith in the light for a second time in this game.
For justice. For justice.
Okay. Down to 1 health. But we can recover with the Wicker Flame. It's actually really good that we discovered that minion. So this is a minion that RDU does not play naturally in this deck. But the deck I played a couple of weeks back, the version of Midrange Murloc Paladin that I played a couple of weeks back, did play the Wicker Flame. I guess it's a good card against aggressive classes. The Shaman is grasping for straws now. He is in top deck mode. I still have options in my hand. The Primordial Drake is going to be really, really good. Just need to think about how we use it. So, we probably want to kill the Threshodon. Question is how. Treading in a 1-attack Murloc feels good. Killing a big minion like that. So, we could trade in the Tidecaller and then play the Drake. I'm just pondering, is there another play? Is there another way through this? Could we buff the Tidecaller with the Rockpool Hunter and the Hero Power, then trade into the 6/6? But we'd be leaving a lot, would potentially be leaving a lot on the board. What does Bloodlust then do to us? We've seen 1 Bloodlust, which put us down to this low health total. This is fine. This is absolutely fine. The benefit of this is we get a clear board, and we're just going to play the Rockpool Hunter for a body who cares about the buff. So, yeah, that's it. Outvaluing an aggressive Shaman with tokens and Bloodlust. Feels good. Okay, so what do I think of the RDU deck on the left-hand side compared to the deck on the right that I played a couple of weeks back? Well, you know, you can pretty much ignore everything down from Consecration, because those cards are identical in both decks. Everything above Consecration, though, there are, not everything, but the cards above Consecration have differences. So, Blessing of Kings. Did I need Blessing of Kings in the two games that you saw in this video? Would it have been useful? Maybe. Didn't feel essential. Rallying Blade actually helped in one of those games, so I approve of including Rallying Blade. It's another weapon. Of course, you'll notice the RDU deck only has one copy of True Silver Champion. The other mid-range deck on the right has 2 copies. And the reason being, I guess, that True Silver costs 4, so by including only 1 copy, there's room for Rallying Blade, which only costs 3, so you have a weapons curve, which can indeed be useful. You know, you're on turn 3, you desperately need a weapon. Oh look, there's the Rallying Blade. Turn 4 arrives, you need a True Silver. Oh look, there it is. So yeah, having a weapons curve from 3 into 4 can actually be good. Now, Murloc Tidecaller, which is included in the RDU deck, you saw in the games in this video that card got me value, but it's really only ever good if it's played early or in conjunction with other Murlocs. If you end up top decking that card and it's the only thing you can put down on the board, it's really, really bad. Unless, of course, you have the Murloc Hero Power, in which case at least it gets a buff. So I'm still in two minds about the Tidecaller. As I say, it can help you snowball a game if you're lucky to get it in the early hand. If you're not a lucky player, maybe it's not a good card to play. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, a bit of deck evaluation there, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, I'd be very grateful, and I'll see you all again very soon for more Hearthstone fun.